my proud privilege to welcome Mr. I.S. Paul. He is the mentor of Thai, a very successful industrialist. I'm sure a lot of you would have probably run into him. He's had a very amazing journey from being a business banker and business executive turned entrepreneur, running a very successful leather manufacturing company. What perhaps a lot of you would not know is that recently they acquired a retail chain in Europe. They also have taken on China head-on, and the Chinese are a large percentage of their business, unlike the other way around. And I'm very delighted that he's accepted our offer to be a keynote today. Mr. Paul, please feel free to, he'll talk on lessons entrepreneurship and what it takes to be a great entrepreneur. We are hoping that you guys make it as interactive and take as much advantage of his journey, his wisdom, and his experience.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Good morning. I got a very short notice. So therefore, put together some random thoughts to share with you. But let's start with the question. What is EQ? Emotional quotient, that was the term that Goldman had coined. Emotional quotient. You think it could be something else? I say EQ is entrepreneurial quotient. So if some of you have decided to be entrepreneurs and you want to start with a new business, then what is it that it takes to be an entrepreneur? What is your EQ? And I would want that you test yourself against this EQ. Find that you have enough of it and only then take the plunge. I became an entrepreneur 22 years ago, and I don't regret what we did. But these few things that I would share with you, we did not have the benefit of the ties and the CIIs and all those people holding those seminars and informing you about it. So I'm sure you're going to have a day's sessions which are going to lead you to think a little more clearly. A lot of passion and will to succeed. Don't come into this business if you do not have the passion and the self-belief. You would need to dream. Abdul Kalam, our ex-president, used to say that a dream is not something that you see in the sleep. A dream is something that does not let you sleep. A lot of guts and optimism and positivity is required to treat every setback, and I can promise you there will be many. To treat every setback as the next stepping stone for the success. You would have to have a firm belief in your own idea. You would need to have the vision. You would need to have the vision for yourself. You would need to have the vision for your own business and where you want to take it. You would need to be seen as the rainbow by everybody around you, and also importantly, for the others to realize as to what is it that they can take as part out of that rainbow. That's crucial. What is it in it that they would have? You would need to lead from the front. the only place where you can point a finger when you are having a startup is the mirror. You can't have anybody else to point to. You are responsible for your own actions. So you would need to lead by example. Believe you me, there will be a lot of sacrifice, there will be a lot of tension, there will be a lot of friction. There will be a lot of heartburn. But in all that sacrifice, the others around you should also have a feeling that if this person can sacrifice so much, let me also change. I'm assuming that all of you are either entrepreneurs or want to be entrepreneurs. Is that right? Almost. Okay. In the startups, one thing that is very crucial is because most of us take the help of our relations and friends. You have a higher trust factor. You would have to be very unemotional. You will have to be very even-handed and very objective. Most of the businesses to begin with fail not because we didn't have enough money. That's important. I'll come to that later. But because we could not carry on with the team that we started because we were not even-handed. So you will have to be objective in whatever that you treat, that you evaluate. You would need to be a team builder. And everyone should feel an inch taller in your presence. You will have to have that environment. It's a small environment. I know maybe you start with 10 people, or you start with 5, or you start with 50. You would need to have an environment where everybody feels that he can contribute and, as I said, feels an inch taller. You would need to realize that success is 99% perspiration and 1% inspiration. We would have to be very clear that it is the hard work which is going to carry you places. Entrepreneurship is the art of staying alive long enough to succeed. You would have to persist and persevere. There will be a lot of moments where you are going to say, Chandigarh, bada. You know, I can't take it anymore. That means you haven't got captured by that idea. Once you are in it, you would have to persevere. Give it the time. Because most of our problems in life are because we expect results sooner than they can come. Give it time. There will be a constant need to learn. For creative renewal, you would be inventing yourself every day because there will be new challenges every day. You will need to adapt. You would need to learn and mutate every day. Please realize that you are coming in for the long haul. Make sure you know why you want to start business. May I ask some of you as to why is it that you have decided to start your own business? Is it because you want to get rich quickly? This present job doesn't give you that possibility. Is it? Sorry.
To avoid the pain of not having a dent in the universe.
Right.
Itch of being in control.
Being in control. Wanting to create something that you are unable to do while you are in a job.
To recognize within society.
To get the recognition within society because you have achieved something exceptional.
Wanting to be a global leader.
Wanting to be a global leader. After 5 years in Europe, in mid-80s, I came back to this country. I always wanted to come back home. And I had a very old-fashioned objective within my mind. And that was to create maximum employment within India. Because the purest form of patriotism today, I believe, is to create a job. There is no bigger punya. We have had reverses, we have had, we have had problems, potholes galore. The kind of personal wealth that we or my partners have built is nothing as compared to what most businesses would have of our size. What is the biggest satisfaction that we have? We give livelihood to more than 2,000 families. Old-fashioned, but it was the sustaining reason for us that through good times and bad we survived because we thought we are at least near our objective. Our objective was, when I started, not to make money. So, we need to be very clear as to why we want to start with the business. That would give you an idea as to what is the infrastructure that you have to build to realize your own idea. You should have the constant ability to ask why. You should always be prepared to vacuum somebody else's brains. Why? I have experienced it myself. We deal with a lot of chemical companies. And the technician from the chemical company that comes, you go beyond his product and ask him why. You ask the label manufacturer as to how or why he's doing the job this way, why not this way. You ask your hardware supplier why. I'm reminded of Sam Walton. Sam Walton is the founder of Walmart. Walmart could be the first $1 trillion company in the world. We are today, India is exceeding $1 trillion GDP country. There could be $1 trillion company soon. In year 2000, there were about 230 billion US dollars. A group of investors in Brazil put together a plan to have a retail chain. So these Brazilian investors wrote to 10 retailers in US saying that they wanted to interact with them and wanted to learn more from them. No one replied barring Sam Walton. Sam Walton replies, "You're welcome." They go to his town, Arkansas, in US, and they come down the plane, and a grey-haired, elegant-looking person approaches them to say, "May I help you?" He says, "We are looking for Sam Walton." He says, "It's me." For the next 2 days, he constantly interacted with them. They discussed business plans, they discussed retailing, they discussed discounting, because Walmart, you understand the idea behind Walmart? The idea behind Walmart is simple. How are they going to give a person an affordable alternative to what only the rich have been consuming so far? That's the simple idea. So they discussed that, and at the end of the day, when the Brazilians left, they had realized that Sam Walton had learned more from them than they had learned from Sam Walton. Ask why. Even if you are a Sam Walton, ask why. And also, if you are an entrepreneur, please be good at saying, I do not know. We have a problem because when I started the business, I was the peon and the managing director myself. You know everything about the business. You know quite a bit about the business, yes. But there are going to be instances where you are not going to know enough about your business. So when you don't, admit that you don't know. I went to a business school in Lausanne, Switzerland. And Dean was Mark Abel, who was from Harvard, and he used to narrate an incident about his professor in the University of in the Harvard Business School, where every third day, this master of his own subject in production management would say, "Friend, I do not know." And Abel was a student, and they all got up one day and they said, "Professor, you are a world authority." And every time or every second or third day you say, "I do not know." Is it for effect or is it actually that you do not know? He said, "No, I do not know. It's a fact that I do not know and I'm learning from it." Be prepared to say, "I do not know." And that way you would learn more about the business. We have to be on a constant quest to gain more knowledge, and this is the way to do that. Why? And I do not know. You see, your plans cannot succeed on this. Then be realistic about it. I'm sorry I'm relying on examples from my own business, but that is the only thing I know the best, so it's been good to share with you our experiences from our own business. When we started business in 1988, we were selling from the very first day. The cash flows were coming in from day one. For 5 years, it was a great story. You had cash flows, exports were the done thing in those times, talking about late 80s, early 90s. Government wanted foreign exchange, you felt like the son-in-law. You had all the benefits. Remember the time when Exim script used to be 17%? The Western world was on a roll. It had emerged out of that Reagan era. Everybody was on a spending binge. The world was a very nice place to be in and very nice to be an exporter. We had tremendous cash flows. First 5 years. The reality check started in later. The country had alternative sources of foreign exchange. Puneet Vatsayans of this world, you see, started alternative systems of getting the foreign exchange, which did not come onto your balance sheet at all because these are called invisibles and you don't have to exert it all, so government didn't have to give any benefit at all. You had emergences of a Pakistan or a Bangladesh or a Vietnam or a Indonesia, so the world became a very competitive place. What happened to you? Suddenly from 12-15% cash flows, you came down to 4-5%. In a matter of 4-5 years. It was a reality check and a reality shock. How are you going to manage? You started the business thinking that those would be the cash flows, but mind you, in our case, as I submitted earlier, our raison d'etre was different. And we had by that time employed about mid-90s, 600-700 people. So we were growing enough to sustain our objective. In your own case, you would have the problem that some of the plans will go awry. Some of the plans will not be realized. If you are an entrepreneur, please don't feel frustrated. It will happen. Just because you did not plan or the environment has changed. I remember businesses having come up in the times of SARS, for example, those people who were dealing in Asia, or the downturn of 2008, early 2009. Businesses vanished. It's not only the Merrill Lynches and the Beers and Stearns. A lot of smaller businesses just vanished. So be prepared that there would be a change. In the Indian milieu, I found it. It is very important that there is, for your move,